Welcome into the SBR Betting Roundtable for September 6th. We're going to be hitting the NFL, then we're going to be going over a little MLB, CFL, and then closing out with college football. Week 2 of college football, opening week of NFL, arguably the best sports betting weekend and week of the entire year. We got some of the best and brightest minds in the sports betting industry. We'll go right around the horn, introduce yourself. How excited are you for this weekend? How are you looking to bet this weekend? Ian Cameron, welcome into the SBR Betting Roundtable.
Great to be here, Drew. This is when the roundtable shows are going to get awesome. They're going to get wicked. We're going to have NFL and college football every single week now for the next few months to break down on a weekly basis. Can't be more excited. Football is truly here this week.
Well said, Ian. And big man on campus, Jeff Nadeau. How you feeling, buddy?
Doing good, Drew. I'll waver what Ian said there. Yeah, great week. I don't know if it's the best week of the year, but I would say college basketball. But I know guys love football as well. The NFL's here. I know Donnie Wrightside's going to be getting into that, and I'm excited. A lot to talk about today. Welcome in, everyone.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And Donnie Wrightside, last but not least, how you feeling today, buddy?
Feeling really good. The only thing throwing me off right now is Ian Cameron has changed his background the last 16 shows in a row, so it throws me off a little bit there. But other than that, National Football League on the docket. You know, you have hurricanes coming into South Florida, messing up games there. You also have the Ezekiel Elliott suspensions. I mean, the NFL is genius. I think maybe the NFL even created the hurricane down there just for something to talk about outside of Ezekiel Elliott. Genius move by Roger Goodell with his weather machine there.
Hey, Donnie, just real quick, did you see the Miami Hurricanes canceled the game in Jonesboro, Arkansas? What's up with that, man?
Yeah, you know, I saw they had an option to play Friday night, and I'm saying, you know, well, why did Miami do that? But if you really think about it, most of these kids are Dade and Broward County kids. They're going to be flying out knowing that their family and friends might just get steamrolled.
Come on.
Okay, so if we're going Lancaster County, a big tornado's coming there. You're like, I'm headed to the Jersey Shore. Dad, good luck with that. No way. Do you want to stay home and help out and be on ground zero? There's no way these kids will be able to concentrate.
Rice had to go to Australia. If they have to do it,
instead of what?
Have to do it. Instead of staying home like Miami is. Come on, man. That's a weak move. Everyone else had to do it. Houston had to do it.
It's a weak move. Your family might perish, and you can't help them out, and you're going to play in the middle of a football game.
Everyone else had to do it. Everyone else had to do it.
Everybody else. What, Rice one time, they didn't even know where the storm was going to happen
Houston
or what was going to hit.
It too.
The most powerful storm of all time is about to roll right over your house.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Leaving town and leaving your family behind. No way.
So Houston didn't do it, Donnie? Wake up. Come on.
No way.
They did.
FAU's doing it. FAU's heading out to Camp Randall.
Come on, everybody does it. Miami doesn't have to do it though, because they're Miami, of course. What a joke.
See, I think it has something to do with Arkansas State pushing Nebraska to the limit last Saturday. They don't want none of that.
Miami smoked App State when they were supposed to lose going up to the Rock as well. They would have smoked Arkansas State. That's not the problem there. But I agree. I'm surprised they weren't able to reschedule it or at least put it at the end of the season. If you remember, maybe about 20 years ago when I was in college, UCLA came in and was supposed to play Miami in a hurricane game. They canceled it, put it at the end of the season. Miami wasn't very good to start that season. They blew out number 2 UCLA in that Edgerrin James game, which was the start of Miami making a comeback. So I'm real surprised they couldn't reschedule it somewhere, though. It's kind of odd.
Yeah, well, just interesting topic right there. But guys, NFL week 1, opening week, we got the NFL taking the stage. Let's start it off. How are we handling week 1? Where are we looking to kind of take advantage of these markets? Obviously, more mature markets. How are you looking to bet week 1, Donnie?
I mean, betting week 1 to me, as you know, I don't lay that much money down until week 3 until it really ramps up because, again, you're in that same thing with college football overreaction. You see week 1, you let your eyes deceive you. You bet in the week 2, you say, man, they really bounced back. Or that team, I didn't think they were that good. They actually are. Same thing in week 1. I'm picking out a couple spots. There's a few things I like just in different situations. Oakland rode high and mighty in the offseason. David Carr, we're moving to Las Vegas. They're in a really bad spot heading to Tennessee. Another team that I like that I'm taking a look at would be the Green Bay Packers in week 1. Just situational matchups. The Green Bay Packers coming in healthy. When the Packers are healthy on offense and Aaron Rodgers is healthy, I don't care if you have the 85 Bears defense out there. He is slaying you, and I think he'll do the same. So betting week 1, not so much matchup-wise, just actually position-wise that you're looking at and where these teams actually have to go.
Ian Cameron, anything different for you? Week 1 NFL?
If you watch preseason and the starters in the preseason, you take what you saw and observed and evaluate it but you take it with a grain of salt. Sometimes things carry over from the preseason into week 1. Sometimes they don't. It's situation by situation. It's team by team. I'm more concerned in the preseason, Drew, and everyone here on the roundtable, that group looks bad in the preseason, if the pass defense, for instance, struggles on a certain team, or the quarterback struggles throughout the preseason, that means more to me than, say, an individual player. But the preseason observations are on a case-by-case basis. Sometimes you're going to see carryover from the starter's performance in the preseason into week one. Sometimes you don't. You just got to weigh it case by case. Very interesting week one board, and a reminder to everyone, just as a general rule of thumb in NFL week one, these lines have been out there for months. These lines have been pounded into shape by so many bettors, everywhere around the world for week one. It's, take a step back. You don't have to fire away and hammer the board with 8 or 9 or 10 plays in week one. Take it lightly, be very conservative, pick your spots and see if you can grind out some profits. That's really what it should be here in week one, considering you've had lines that have been widely available for months. And in a lot of cases, opinion has moved the number so much in a lot of these games that you've just lost a lot of value.
Okay. No, well said, Ian. And you can find Ian on Twitter at Babano, and Jeff Nadeau, find him on Twitter at Jeff Nadeau. Big man, how you feeling week one NFL?
I'm actually going to take a page out of Donnie Wright's book, and I think maybe other than New England Patriots, fading the public. I mean, going at and looking at getting down with the fleas, if you will. I really liked the San Francisco 49ers week one. Look, I know that we have to all bow down because Cam Newton's the quarterback in Carolina, and he's all of a sudden going to get back to his old, the way he is. But let's be real. He's had one good year in the NFL, and that was really it. I see a team that has nothing in their secondary, and I think under Kyle Shanahan, this Niners team is really going to get better. I don't know if they're going to win 6 or 7 games. They're not going to do that. But in this game, I do like them to keep it close. I'm going to get down probably with, to me, I want to back Tennessee week one. I feel like I have to back them, Donnie. I mean, Oakland's a public darling, and I don't actually get mad that I have to back Tennessee. I like this team early on. And, maybe other than the New England Patriots, I'm going to be all over fading the public because, as we know, Donnie, the Las Vegas bookmakers don't lose 2 years in a row. They didn't have a particularly good year last year overall. There was a lot of public weeks where the public was killing the NFL. I get a feeling that this year they get back a little bit even. So I'll stay away from the Patriots, but everyone else it's open season here. I'm going to look to get down with the Titans. I'm going to look to get down with the Jags and the Niners. Those kind of teams. They're all improved. Browns are a better team. Jets, though, will be off that list.
You're being very kind, Jeff, when it comes to the odds makers last year in the NFL. They didn't just lose. They got their brains beat in. They got the shit kicked out of them by the public in the National Football League. So very interesting to see if the public's able to duplicate that success this year. We'll see.
Yeah, they usually don't do one thing. They usually don't duplicate it in September. Most of the time, year after year after year, the public loses more money in September than any other month out of the year because everybody wants to bet football and nobody knows what the hell they're looking at. Again, I circled that Tennessee game. I'm glad Jeff's on that same side as well. Oakland, Tennessee, 37% of the spread tickets coming in on Tennessee, a complete line reversal. And why not? Everybody's just sitting there going, oh my God, Marshawn Lynch is on Oakland now? You got to take them. They're getting beat week one. Mark that down.
But keep in mind, Tennessee's a pretty good football team. They've improved.
A really good football team, yes.
That game, I believe, will come down to who can get a stop. And I don't know that I believe that Oakland can get a stop. I think that one's really going to hurt people. I think also maybe Atlanta, I think everyone just assumes they're going to play well because they lost the Super Bowl. Let's remember they lost the Super Bowl. They didn't win. There might be a kind of a week one. They might be a little down still. I don't know. There's going to be definitely some ones I'm opening my eyes on. But, look, you can't bet favorites and continuously think you're going to win in the NFL. They don't make money that way. So for me, that's what I'm going to look to do, Drew.
Okay. And Donnie, you bring up that September – the bettors historically lose. Is that because something to do in the shape of the market going into September because the lines have been out so long? Or is that just human nature, bettors kind of walking up to the window and blowing their load, in the first month?
It's absolutely exactly correct. I don't so much care about even what the lines are. It's what the public sees. It's the guy who goes to work, all week long, can't wait for football season. He doesn't bet baseball, basketball, he bets football. And week one comes and he feels like he has to get down on 5 or 6 games on opening day and just saying, Let me look at the card today. Man, Matt Ryan. Yeah. Atlanta's not losing that game. And no quarterback for Indianapolis. I'm just going to go the Rams. Yeah, that makes sense. And wait a second. The Niners stink. Cam Newton's going to play. Yeah, I'll take that game as well. That's why the public gets their brains beat in.
He's so right. I mean, that's exactly how your casual NFL bettor thinks. They look at a card and say, well, I haven't bet in weeks. I haven't bet in months, but I fucking know the NFL. This is my wheelhouse. I'm all over this. Half the time they don't even know. I mean, like, and I'm not calling anyone out here, but like there's people in the chat box talking about Tennessee sucked in the preseason. Who cares? I mean, what does that matter? I mean, no one cares about preseason. I mean, you can. I don't care if a team doesn't move the ball a fucking yard in the preseason. I don't care. It doesn't mean anything. No one gives a shit about it. But he's totally
Jeff,
right.
How about this angle right here? You ready for this one? And again, if you buy picks, if you see anything coming down the pike, let's get started on this one. 457, 458. Yo, what? Boy, when he comes out of that tunnel, they're going to win by 40 in that game.
Yeah, the whole emotional thing. The whole emotional, J.J. Watt's going to put Texas on his back.
That place is going to be fire. Like $20 million. Nobody's going to let them lose opening day. They're going to blow them out.
It's the Jaguars.
Savage.
Okay, let's get this. Let's get the emotion and motivation thing settled right now about week 1. This is week 1 of the regular season. Brand new season, fresh opportunity for every team in the NFL, good, bad, or in between. 0-0 is the record. It's time to just play game 1, and everyone's going to be fired up. Everyone's going to be motivated. There's no emotional edge to be had. None. 0 in week 1. Everybody's starting from scratch. Everybody's starting fresh. It's like a breath of fresh air for every team in the NFL. Motivation, a non-factor to me in week 1.
There you go, Ian.
All right, boys. Great breakdown of week 1 NFL. Let's get into some breakdowns of some games. Let's get into 4-7-3, 4-7-4. We got the Seahawks traveling to Green Bay. Green Bay laying 3, total of 51. Donnie, you mentioned this one earlier. Green Bay is a team you're looking to back. So are you laying the 3 here?
You're taking a little shot at the Seahawks. Did you hear that, Donnie?
What was he going to call him right there? Seahags, maybe?
Seahawks? What's that?
I thought he was hiding the fact all this time he's from Massachusetts. The Seahawks.
Yeah, what's that all about?
Seahawks.
That little foreshadowing to your hate of Seahawks?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, exactly. No, it's one of those spots I do like to look at. However, going against what I like, Green Bay is actually getting 62% of the spread wages, which I usually don't like, but I do like to back a home team, and I love this situation every single year. It's the same thing I've been preaching all summer long. They're a healthy football team coming into this game. I'm going to back the team that's going to be healthy on one side of the football, which with Aaron Rodgers, as long as he stands upright and has some healthy wide receivers, he's going to run up and down the field against anybody. Also, if we take a look at Seattle traveling in, again, bad offensive line. I love Russell Wilson. It's going to be a competitive game, but I don't see Seattle opening week going into Green Bay and beating that Green Bay football team. I got Green Bay by 7 this one. It's going to be a fun game to watch. Again, it's going to be a 425 nationally televised game. We'll all be tuning in, but I love a healthy Green Bay team at home to win this football game.
And Jeff, what about you? You going Green Bay, and anything on the total 51?
Yeah, I agree with Donnie here. I'm actually pretty high on the Seahawks, but like he mentioned, I mean, it's on the road. They're never a team I'm really looking to back on the road. They do have some question marks still in that offensive line. How will they play with that George Fant? How will that secondary come back this year? They don't exactly get a break week 1. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, you got to face week 1 off of some of the injuries they had last year. It's just not a great matchup. As far as the total, I'll kind of look that way. I'm going to want to say that I think Green Bay can put up 30 in this game. I think that's something they're going to normally do all year. I could see Seattle getting into the 20s. I would go over. What did you say they got a total 51? I could see this game like 34-23, something like that. I think Green Bay's the play here. Not huge on the over, but that would be the way I'd lean there. I just think, and what is Green Bay? Are they better defensively? That's kind of the big question. Their secondary was a problem last year. Did they do enough to address it? Is Josh Jones and Kevin King, are they guys that can come in and give them a little depth there? Can Clinton Dix keep playing well? Overall, they have a little bit of a question mark at defense as well. I would lean over 34-23, something like that, but I like Donnie's prediction as well.
Okay, and Ian, any differing opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would lean over in this game. The problem is I want to sit back. It's probably going to just stay a lean for me because I want to see what the Seattle offensive line does. But keep in mind, Russell Wilson, we know, is that kind of quarterback with his dual threat abilities, with just his intuition of knowing when to scramble, when the pocket collapses, when it breaks down, and make plays on the run outside of the pocket and look downfield and still be able to throw very accurately. Russell Wilson doesn't get enough credit for that. He throws very accurately when he's on the move. That could help in terms of masking the problems that the Seattle offensive line might have going into the season. I mean, when you look at it from the Seahawks perspective, left tackle Reese Odiambo is currently listed as projected left tackle starter with Fant out. That could be a problem. I mean, it was a weak spot last year. They thought Fant would be filling that role. Now he's hurt. Going to be very interesting to see how that blind side of Russell Wilson's protect this game. And of course, though, Wilson does have that ability to move. When you look at it, Green Bay, their defense still has issues. I like HaHa, Clinton Dix, Morgan Burnett in that safety position, but the cornerbacks with House and a bunch of the others they've got there, very questionable, very suspect. I'm going to have to see if they're able to take a step forward in that regard coming into this season. So I'd lean a little bit to the over, but it's probably just going to be a lean for me.
All right, great breakdown, guys. Hey, let's head to Sunday night. We got the New York Giants heading to Jerry's World, taking on the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys laying 4, a total of 47.5. Jeff, why don't you start us off on this one? Any opinion?
Yeah, I'm all over the Cowboys in this game. I really liked them in this spot. I've made it clear all year I'm not particularly high on the Giants offensively. We have some question marks at receiver with Odell Beckham. If he doesn't play, I like the Cowboys even more here. My advice, I'd probably bet this game now. I think you're getting a pretty good number here. As far as if you like the Cowboys, I think the line's only going to go up with the Ezekiel Elliott news. Clearly, it's went up. It went up to, it was at 3.5, I think, went up to 4. I'm just not particularly high on the Giants. I can keep talking about this. I don't understand Evan Engram. I don't understand that decision. You need a running back. They haven't had a running back in years, and I don't know that their running game is going to be much of a factor this year either. Their offensive line shaky, and we can beat around the bush. I like Eli Manning more than others, but he does have some issues with interceptions. We all know that. I think the Cowboys are just a better team. They're energized. I think defensively they got better. Are they great defensively? No, but I like some of the moves they made in the offseason to get stronger there. And I do think Ezekiel is one of those guys where, look, you give him a couple weeks. If he's in there for a couple weeks, he's going to perform for a couple of weeks. He's one of those kids that, again, he's made terrible decisions. Even last week, you got to ask yourself, with all the shit going on, why is he on a party boat in a beach cove outside of Dallas? You have to ask yourself, why is he still doing this kind of stuff? He makes bad decisions. But again, on the football field, I think he'll be just fine. It's only an added piece that they're going to have here. I like Dallas in this spot at home. I think they get the job done here and win, 31-21, something like that.
Okay. And Donnie, you on the same side as Jeff?
Yeah, me and Jeff started out this show with a pretty good tussle here, but we're seeming to be agreement in a lot of these stuff. Dallas Cowboys, Jeff knows from me, I've been talking about it for a month. I didn't even care if Ezekiel Elliott even played in this football game. I thought Dallas was going to be the right play here. Again, it's all about public perception. The Giants currently getting 68% of the tickets, line not moving around that much. Now that Ezekiel Elliott is playing and also his future might be a little bit clouded, this might be one of those games, and again, it's week 1, it's the NFL, everybody's going to be excited, but Dallas might be putting a little bit of extra groove on this one, saying this is a home game, this is a divisional game. We might have Zeke for game 1, it might lose him the next 6 weeks. We don't know what's going to happen. Let's make sure we take care of business at home. Overall, I thought Dallas would win all summer long. I even told people to take it when it dipped down to 3 at one point when Ezekiel Elliott was suspended to take that game. That New York money's coming in strong. Everybody just sees, oh, Eli Manning, Odell Beckham's going to play now. We have 1 million wide receivers, and I don't know if Dallas is going to repeat back there.
Our defense is the best in the league.
Yeah, Dallas is going to win this football game. Now that Ezekiel Elliott's back in the game, Dallas will win this game. I look for Dallas. I mean, actually a little bit high scoring, even though I know the Giants have a very good defense and I back them, and I think they have the best defense in the division. There's no question about that. But I think this game might end up somewhere in that 31-24 range with Dallas getting the victory here. But I've been on Dallas all summer long in this game. I think it's a great spot for them.
Okay, Ian, finish us off in this NFC East matchup.
Yeah, the fly in the ointment with the over in this game, Donnie, is the fact that Dallas last year made a habit of just long, time-consuming, possess the ball, methodically move the ball down the field drives last year, and they really did that to mask the defense. That was not a great Cowboys defense by any stretch of the imagination last year. I don't think they're great this year either, and I think the key for Dallas this season is going to be having those long time of possession, chewing up those long drives basically on offense and keeping their defense off the field. It's a formula that worked very well for Dak Prescott and the Cowboys last year, and I think they're going to be going to that same kind of style this year. They're going to try to keep the defense off the field for as long as possible. With the New York Giants, it's simple. With Eli Manning not having a ground game that he can rely on, I'm shocked. Nobody likes Paul Perkins and Orleans Darkwa here running the football for this New York Giants team. But without a solid ground game, Eli Manning's been decidedly mediocre. I mean, we've seen it the last couple of years when he hasn't had that ground game to work with. The offensive line is not always held up in pass protection. He's been running for his life. He's made poor throws into coverage, made bad decisions, rushed throws, just totally off his timing, totally off his rhythm. He's not a mobile, fleet-of-foot quarterback to begin with. That's a concern for me with the New York Giants going into this season. They still have a very weak, if any, ground game, and that could hamper Eli Manning's ability in the passing game as well.
And Jeff, you had something else on the Giants?
Yeah. I see a lot of talk in the chat about how dynamic Evan Engram is. And by the way, Jake Butt, Mark Andrews, Bucky Hodges were better tight ends than Evan Engram. Luckily, he was in a good system that worked for him at Ole Miss. I'm not saying I don't. Clearly, they're going to do what they want to do, but Ian just highlighted the issues that this team has at running back. You had Dalvin Cook staring you in the face. They have weapons. I don't necessarily think at that pick that was the right move there. You have to address the running game at some point to give your guy Eli Manning a little bit of a safety valve there to run the football. They just abandon it at times. Until they do that, I'm not going to be too into this team.
I hate to throw Orleans dark. I did love the guy at Tulane. He was a very, very good college player. Really, really good there a long time ago.
All right, guys. Hey, we got one more NFL game we want to break down. Also want to remind everybody watching, if you like the content, please give us a thumbs up. And also a reminder for a free contest to enter, Jimmy the Bags contest. It's a $25,000 worth of prizes to give out. So it's something to check out on SBR Picks. You can't miss it. Marketing it all over the site. It's something that's free to enter. I'll be entering, so it will be a lot of fun throughout the football season. So make sure to enter and try to beat Jimmy the Bag and win $25,000, and it doesn't cost you anything to get in. So make sure to check that out, guys. It starts tomorrow, by the way, the contest, and the game that starts tomorrow, Thursday night, NFL. We got Kansas City versus New England. New England -9. Looks like this is a game to shop around. Make sure to check out SBR odds to get the best number. Total of 48.5. Ian, you want to start us off with the Thursday night game tomorrow night and your opinion on it?
Yeah, what was that brilliant Mark Lawrence stat from the IFBC? Tom Brady at home versus AFC foes at Gillette Stadium, 50-1 straight up, something like that. The only loss, the Buffalo Bills in Week 17 a few years ago, and the Patriots were resting starters.
Ian, here's my problem with that stat. Why is that relevant? I mean, they're never laying 1 point. So why is that?
No, but the point is, with my theory, Jeff, with underdogs, is I've got to have some kind of belief that they're going to win. Right. Or else I'm not interested in plus the points unless I actually think they've got a chance to win that game. And I can't honestly say I feel that way about the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, the Spencer Ware injury is huge for them. We'll see what Kareem Hunt can do. I do have faith in him being able to be a serviceable stopgap at the running back spot for the Chiefs. But again, we're still talking about a rookie back. Let's see what he can do here with the bright lights on. And it's a very pedestrian skill position group for the Kansas City Chiefs. They got all their eggs in the Tyreek Hill basket. Macklin's not there anymore. It's a bunch of issues right now they've got in terms of who are they going to throw the football to. I know they've got Travis Kelce, phenomenal tight end. I understand that. But Alex Smith is devoid of skill position weapons. This is not a very explosive offense to begin with last year. And then you look at the luck factor that was on Kansas City side. Every close game went their way. Fumble return touchdowns, pick six returns. They had fake punts and fake field goals, blocked field goal returns for a touchdown in a game I remember against Atlanta last year. I mean, they had everything go their way last year, the Kansas City Chiefs. Those pendulums are going to swing a little bit. I don't trust them in this spot. The problem I have with laying the points here with New England is this offense going to be as explosive? I know it's Tom Brady back there, and he's still as good as ever, even for his age right now. But the Julian Edelman injury is going to be one that they're going to need to address and do something about in terms of finding that other guy to step up, because Edelman was that optimal safety blanket for Tom Brady in the passing game. It's going to put more emphasis on Chris Hogan and a bunch of the other receivers on this team, as well as some of the backs for New England. So I'm interested to see how this offense adjusts without Edelman. So I'm not rushing to lay the points with New England, but can't say I can make a convincing case for Kansas City. I do like the under in this game. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game than people think. I think New England's offense against that KC may take some time to adjust to life without Julian Edelman. And on the flip side, I don't see KC moving the ball up and down the field in bunches against New England. So under the total is the way I'd play it.
All right, Ian, looking towards the under. Donnie, do you agree with him?
I mean, I don't know about the over-under, even the point spread in this game, but since we're on the show and you got to break the game down, it is an interesting look at this. I was on Sports Rage last night talking with Gabe about this. The breakdown comes down to me. It's not so much what you can and can't do on offense if you're the Kansas City Chiefs. It's what Bill Belichick is going to take away from you. This is not a talented team or as talented of a team Kansas City have had over the past 3-4 years or even since Andy Reid's been there. You're going to have a rookie running back in the backfield trying to pick up some exotic blitz schemes. They're going to take away Travis Kelce. So you're going to have Tyreek Hill out there as your number one wideout. What is he, like 5'9", just a speedster? You can only run so many read options and reverses against somebody to try to fool them and switch them up. You're not going to go methodically down the field in New England Patriots. And again, if we're looking at this line right now, sitting at 9 at Chris, 8.5 at Pinnacle, to me, in order for Kansas City to cover this game, they're going to have to get to at least 24 points in this one. I understand Edelman's going to be out of this game, but it's Tom Brady. He's a well-oiled machine all by himself with no weapons. Some of the best running backs, the most versatile running backs that he's had throughout his career are going to be on this football team right now. He's got capable wideouts. Rob Gronkowski's coming back to this game. The one thing, the 3 yard in a cloud of dust by Kansas City, you better hope Tom Brady is off. You better hope that the New England Patriots are fumbling the football to keep them in. Two things are going to happen in this game. New England's going to be fired up to play this football game, and the Chiefs will be out of timeouts by the end of the first quarter. I don't see any way possible that the Chiefs can come in and win, which is a great point by you, Ian. I'm not interested in the points either if I don't think one side is going to win the football game, because just going in and saying, I think they can hang around, that's a way to get you beat, and you're going to be separated from your money right away. This game comes down to the Patriots will take Kelce away, and who the hell is beating you on that KC team?
This is Chris Conley and the other guy, Albert.
There's nothing. They have nothing to beat you with. And also, we're talking about a quarterback in Alex Smith who refuses to throw the ball downfield. So if you're going to try 3 yard outs all game long to beat the Patriots, they're going to lock you down. It's a wrap.
Yeah, Albert Wilson, Chris Conley behind Tyreek Hill at that wide receiver spot. Like, what are we doing here? We're trying to build a good skill position group.
We forgot J.U. Chesson. I mean, come on.
Oh,
goodness.
He's
going to come out here.
Michigan, baby.
The old Michigan.
I can smell the 30-point outbursts from here.
Yeah. No, I agree with these guys wholeheartedly. They're going to take Kelce out of the game. Kareem Hunt, is he ready to be the feature back there? And Tyreek Hill's a receiver. I mean, again, I understand a slot receiver, but on the outside, I don't know that makes a lot of sense. By the way, the Patriots have the potential to be a very good secondary. I mean, they bring in Stephon Gilmore from the Bills. It seems like the Bills have unloaded every player they've had at the secondary. I mean,
I will tell you this. It's pissed off Morency, too. He's a Bills fan. New England has taken Chris Hogan from Buffalo, made him look good. Watch them take Mike Gillislee as a backup running back. They're going to make him look good. They're going to make Stephon Gilmore look good now that he's in New England. All these Bills players that were up and down, mediocre in Buffalo, Belichick's going to turn them into magic here. Watch it.
It's banner night. It's the first game of the season. It's fuck Roger Goodell up at Gillette. It's, Brady. There's no way I'm betting against them. I don't bet against them. I can't remember ever betting against them. I just don't know that Kansas City's in a good spot here to come in and get the job done. Losing Macklin hurts. You really don't have any legit receiver that you have to worry about. And Donnie's right. You'll take Kelce out of the game. Can Kareem Hunt, like I said, can he run?
Yeah, they need 24 points to hang around that spread to me. And I just don't see it. I just don't.
This game's like 31-14. By the way, CJ Spiller's with the Chiefs as well. Maybe he can be a dynamic addition. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm not betting against New England, put it that way. -9 is a play for me.
Yeah, and make sure to shop around on this one. It looks like we got UWager hanging 9, Bet Online, Bookmaker also at 9, and Intertops 8.5, 5 Dimes 8.5. So this is one you definitely want to be shopping around and having multiple sports books on. But Jeff, what were you going to say?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good, Drew.
Okay. You guys want to hit on anything else NFL-wise before we move on to MLB and college football?
No, I think, like I've heard from other people, I mean, it is a tougher card. I mean, you really have to look, who wants to lay 9 with the Bills? I mean, for God's sakes. I mean, I know they're playing the Jets, but under looks pretty good there. I'd be surprised if anyone gets either team gets to 20 respectively. There's some interesting ones. I think we kind of highlighted them early with maybe a Niners play. I do like the Rams. I'm pretty high on that team, and I think Scott. And I'm not going to go down this angle, but it's interesting that Scott Tolzien has a job and others don't. Let's just say that. Donnie, you would agree that Tolzien's got to be one of the worst
Oh,
overall
yeah,
quarterback
he's
in
just
the
a
league.
placeholder there until hopefully Andrew Luck gets back. I don't know where they're
You
going, but
can't
I like
get
the overall card itself as a viewer. For me, is nice. I get my Eagles at 1 o'clock. I'm going to get the game of the day, which I can't wait for, is Seattle and the Green Bay Packers. And then at night, we all get to enjoy the Giants and Dallas. So a nice little opening card that you know, something for everybody. You're going to have your fantasy football going on. You're going to be laying down some wagers. I'm looking forward to it.
Seattle, Green Bay, or Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Fox special. You know, they're doing
Oh, absolutely.
100%. Yeah.
Joe Buck, best in the league.
Hey guys, and if you're watching out there, feel free to chime in on the chat box. Real quick, we got Dale04 asking, will the Falcons cover -6 against the Bears? Want to go around the horn? Any quick thoughts on that one?
-6, good number. I think,
Pinnacle's got 6.5 out there. Yeah, so at least it's around there, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think anything under a touchdown. I kind of said in the beginning of the show, I thought, people use the whole, well, they'll bounce back because they lost Super Bowl. I think in this case, it's a pretty good matchup for them week 1. They should be able to do what they want to do against the Bears. Bears have all sorts of problems. Do have a decent secondary, but I don't know that they'll hold Matt Ryan down. I am interested to see, and this is why I wouldn't bet Atlanta week 1. I think the guys will agree with me here. Is their play calling going to be the same without Kyle Shanahan? Are they going to be that same team? I can't. Steve Sarkisian, again, I thought Lane Kiffin looked a little bit like Steve Sarkisian did. Lane Kiffin looked drunk on the sidelines the other day. I don't know about you guys, but he looked bloated as hell. If you come out and see Sarkisian looking bloated, he might have hit the bottle a little bit. That's a concern for me here if they're going to be the same team offensively. They have dynamic weapons, but I'm not really wanting to put my money in the hands of them week 1. It just looks too good to be true.
That's a great point by Big Man here, because Atlanta's got tremendous offensive talent in terms of player personnel. There's no question. Quarterback, running backs, wide receivers. I understand that. But the scheme, the play calling, and the offensive game plan week in and week out for the Atlanta Falcons last year was not just good. It was great. It was supreme because of Kyle Shanahan, up until, of course, his little bad moment in the second half of the Super Bowl. But other than that, he had one of the best seasons as a play caller could have. That is a huge loss in terms of the mental aspect of preparation from a coaching standpoint. We'll see if this Atlanta offense can move the ball, produce points, be as efficient in the red zone this year without Kyle Shanahan being the one calling the plays, and now with Sark there. So interesting. And how are they going to come out from an emotional standpoint? They're going to be gung-ho, ready to go, ready to put down that Super Bowl collapse behind them. Interesting game for sure. And the problem is with taking less than a touchdown with Chicago in this game is that Atlanta could be hung over for a bit emotionally early, but at some point Atlanta could just out-talent Chicago across the board, top to bottom, and still be able to easily win this game by a touchdown or more. So it's not a game I'm going to get involved with, but I'd be reluctant to take Chicago at anything less than 7.
And Donnie, what do you got?
Yeah, real quick before we get over to college football, I always like to look at week 1. You have those survivor polls out there. There's always 1, 2, 3 shockers week 1 that you said, damn, I don't think that was going to happen. If you guys want to chime in on this, my shocker of the week for a chance for a nice upset actually would be that Chicago game. New coordinator coming in on the road. The Bears, fans are going to be all fired up. It's probably going to be nice weather. Dome team going outdoors. That's the one game that I would say, you know what? That's a tough one. 22% of the tickets are being bet with Chicago. That line's not moving. Pinnacle is now shifted to 6.5. That's my shocker, which may be, one of those things where you just take a shot with one of them and say, that could happen there. That's why I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears in this one as a long shot.
Chicago can win it by defense. Their defense has got to be good, and they showed little glimpses in the preseason. The turnovers, they got to force turnovers, but at the end of the day, it's going to be Matt Ryan and Mike Glennon, and you just got to hope Mike Glennon can give you something at the quarterback spot for this team on Sunday.
Yeah, and the original question was Dale asking -6, and Big Man, you brought up a good point. It's 6.5, 7 now across the board. So laying that in the NFL on the road is a question mark in itself, not to mention all the points Donnie said. So the recipe's there.
Ian also makes a good point about, like, when you're laying down a bet, I mean, do you really want to put your hands in the money in Chicago week 1? I mean,
that's probably the only time to do it, though, right? Once they figure out they stink and go to their backup quarterback, you're going to be crushing Chicago late in the season.
Yeah, I think they're –
And you'd be –
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and if you're back in the Bears here, I'm telling you what, at Soldier Field, it's one of those situations where this has been one of the worst home point spread teams in recent years. Chicago's been an absolute money loser, money burn at home. That's definitely something we're going to have to wait and see if that changes this year. But if you've been backing the Bears at Soldier Field, it's been an ugly existence for you the last couple of years.
Yeah.
All right, guys, good NFL talk. We'll probably get back to it a little bit with best bets here at the end, but let's give a little shout out to MLB. And Ian, if you got anything in the CFL, please chime in quickly. So Donnie, what are you looking at on the diamond?
I mean, not so much a particular game yet. Still waiting on some stuff coming out. One of the most fun things I like to look at is Cole Hamels, another suspect line out there. Looks like he's around 110, actually moving up a little bit higher going against Tehran at home. It's a doubleheader down there. The one thing that's interesting, again, everybody seems like they have 25 pitchers now in their lineup. So no longer are you going to worry about, pinch hitting late or going, extra innings. Case in point, last night, the Boston Red Sox game, I actually had an over, which was a complete whiff, but had an over hit with the Philadelphia Phillies. It went 1-1. But they just came out, Boston, with pitcher after pitcher. And that, I think Boston could have went 37 innings last night and not given up a run to Toronto. It's amazing at this time of the year where the rosters expand. You have so many more outlets. You can, like Bruce Bochy, I haven't watched any San Francisco Giants games, but I'm sure Bochy probably has like 37 arms available just to come at you with maybe changing every pitch in between batters at this one. Just keep in mind heading down. Some of these long shots are going to come in September, but tread lightly here for the rest of the season until you get into the playoffs. Maybe you can grind out a profit here, but tough sledding going down with all these open rosters just makes for interesting betting. That's all.
All right. I agree 100% with you, Donnie. And Ian, anything CFL action?
Yeah, even though I haven't capped baseball in a couple months, the Boston point about Donnie made is great because this team's been crazy in and out of offensive slumps and offensive, when they gone on fire. Boston's gone like 8, 9, 10 runs in like a 3-4 game swatch. And now since I think the Yankee series over the weekend, they've scored like 2 runs, 4 runs. They're back in the tank again with their offense and their lineup. And they need 19 innings to get 3 runs last night against that Jays pitching staff. So really disappointing for their lineup. CFL-wise, very interesting situations all around. We've got rematches in the West Division, Saskatchewan, Winnipeg, Edmonton, Calgary. They play annual Labor Day weekend rivalry games. Saskatchewan beat Winnipeg. Calgary beat Edmonton. I won one of those games. I lost one of those games. So we'll see how the rematches fare this week. Saskatchewan's a little banged up on offense, something you're going to want to be aware of going into Saturday's game against Winnipeg. Starting running back may not play. One of their offensive linemen and also one of their key receivers might also be out for that game. Total sitting at 61. It's a game that I was thinking of giving as a 3-down breakdown best bet yesterday on the show. The under in that Saskatchewan-Winnipeg game. We had no lines at the time of the show when we were going live with Andrew. So I'm going to give it out right now. We're going to go Saskatchewan-Winnipeg under 61. It's going to be the 3-down breakdown CFL best bet this week. I think we get a lower scoring game. We had 62 points in the game last week between Saskatchewan and Winnipeg. I think we get a different story. And how about my Hamilton Ticats? 3 cheers for Hamilton, their first win of the season, my beloved team on Monday night. They're off the schneid. They're no longer winless. June Jones in his CFL head coaching debut with the Hamilton Ticats gets the job done. Way to go, Ticats.
All right, Ian. Looking for the under in the Saskatchewan game. Let's get into college football, guys. Week 1, really exciting week. We got week 2 coming up. This is an overreaction week, or maybe getting out in front of the market week. Depends how you want to look at it. Big man, you just shot a little message to all of us. I loved it, man. Our conversation before we got on the air. Let's just hit on it again. We got the Howard game versus UNLV. Obviously, looking to bet them this week. What do you got, man?
Yeah, I don't really get why this line – it opened up at 21.5 at 5 times. And for anyone who doesn't know, they're playing Kent State, the Golden Flashes. I took them at 21.5. It's down to 20.5. So I got some good CLV, Donnie.
Can you go right now and cash that ticket in?
Yes, I might ask. I might call down there and ask. But, yeah, people said, obviously, historically it was the biggest upset in point spread history. Though – I'm not sure who put that line out. I don't know why UNLV was laying over 40 points to anyone. I think they could have played, my high school team, and they wouldn't have won by 40 plus. But yeah, this week against Kent State, a team that really didn't show up against Clemson. And look, it's Clemson, I know, but like Donnie Wright has said, just the sheer giving up point. I mean, you literally ran up the middle every play. I mean, you basically threw in the towel a series or 2 in.
1 yard passing for a game that you lost, by 50 points?
It's just there's just no heart with this team. I don't get how you do that. You just say, I'm going to just quit a series into the game. I guess they were preparing for Howard. I don't know. But to release the line at 21.5 for a team in Kent State who, I don't really bring up much from what a team did the year before, but Howard lost last year to NC-A&T, another MEAC team, by the way. They also only beat Monmouth by 20, a team that they should crush. I just don't know that they have blowout potential. And I think Howard, I'm not sure they're going to be down. Why would they be down? They're playing with house money. They just beat UNLV. Now they go play another team. Why don't they go and say, you know what? We can beat this team. They're not that – I mean, they're kind of on her level in a way. I mean, UNLV might not have been, but I think Kent State is. Donnie, you got to be a fucking nut to lay 21.5 with Kent State.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not even a lines maker, Jeff. We talked about it earlier, when this line's going to come back. We thought a fair line in this game was 9.5 to 10.5 points, and it opens up, just about double that, which is interesting. But again, it's not so much looking at Kent State or what Howard actually did. It's the matter of fact that, I know George Bolus is the backup quarterback for Kent State. He can't pass. They literally, Jeff, can't pass. Now, if you rewind last year, Kent State was competitive in MAC games, and Holly was amazing at quarterback, literally running 30 to 35 times like you were a high school offense. I don't know how that's going to trend or move over, because last week, and again, it was Clemson. You're not supposed to beat them, but they literally, and you're right, and I can't stop saying it, they handed the ball off repeatedly on like 3rd and 11 right up the middle for no gain, and we're more than happy to punt and have the clock run. That's not the type of mindset I want for my football team, and it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. But again, Jeff, 20.5, you're going to say Kent has to put up what, Jeff, 45 points after barely gaining a yard, it seemed like, in the last game.
They're just not a team you want to lay a big number with. They're not a team that blows teams out. They clearly, they might not be all there this year. And Howard is playing with house money at this point. I really think they're a good play here. I think they're going to hang in this game. Will they win? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. If you can find a money line on this game, why not take a shot with it? Kent State is not a good football team. They're poor. But yeah, Drew, I'm interested in that one. But I think the biggest upset to me ever, honestly, I think Baylor losing was the worst upset I've ever seen. I don't know how that happens. With all the stuff going on there, and I know you got to play football at some point, and I feel like football is almost therapy in a way for some of these people. And you give up 447 passing yards to the Flames of Liberty. You didn't do it to Texas Tech or Iowa State or even Tulsa or somebody like that. You did it to Liberty. 447 passing yards. That is unbelievable. Matt Rule should take a long goddamn look in the mirror. That is pathetic. That is the worst upset I've ever seen, in my opinion.
Definitely.
Yeah, wait till Big 12 play starts. It's just going to get even better for that Baylor.
Baylor took a lot of key injuries too.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Hey, we were just talking about that. I just logged into my 5 dimes, 423 Howard plus 20.5, minus 120 right now. I don't know. What are you thinking that line is by kickoff? Under 17?
It's going to be interesting to see it play out, Jeff, because, again, that line just came out, so people are just sizing that up right now. But I find it hard to believe that the public just wouldn't get – again, we don't like to do overreactions, and I am overreacting to Kent because I don't think they're going to be quite as bad as they showed against Clemson. Clemson's a really good football team, but the actual heart of it, and then you see another team go out and actually win a football game, you're saying, wait a second. Kent State, and this isn't just from the last game. This is the last couple of years. Their offense has been putrid. Now you're saying again, wait, Kent State's going to need to put up somewhere in the mid to high 40s to cover this line. Theoretically, it's an interesting line to put out by the lines makers, man.
Yeah, and the total's at 55. That's what 5 dimes is hanging right now. With Kent games, they're almost an automatic under. But I guess with Howard, the mobile quarterback, I'm not too sure.
That game to me looks like 28. 17 or so. I don't think it's high scoring at all.
Jeff, will you be tweeting me in the first quarter? How the hell is Kent State up 21-0 early?
Well, maybe, but I don't. Again, we can always worry about that. I'll say with Baylor, why are they laying 17 to UTSA? You got to be mad. You got to be absolutely nuts. You got to have something wrong in the head to lay double digits with Baylor.
Now, Jeff, are odds makers trying to not to overreact by still keeping these lines saying there's a head scratcher? Wait a second, this team just lost here. They're playing theoretically a better football team and still going to lay about 3 touchdowns. It's really interesting that they're keeping these lines where they're at.
Here is the caveat to these week 1 upsets that happened. And I saw it last year with 2 teams in particular. What happened to Washington State when they lost in week 1 last year to an FCS team? All they did after that was go on to a tremendous point spread run. It left them devalued for pretty much the rest of the entire season. What happened to Temple last year? Temple lost their first game against Army, got blown off the field by that Army team last year in week 1. What happened after that? everybody backed off the Temple train, and Temple went on to cover every single number the rest of the season last year after losing to Army. There is going to be one, just a second, there's going to be one team this year in college football, week 1, that looked awful. In week 1 and lost outright, an inexcusable loss. And that loss is going to have that team devalued, and you're going to have point spread value moving forward with that team. Is it going to be Texas? Who knows? I personally don't think it's going to be Baylor, but it could be. Is it going to be a bunch of these teams? UNLV. What are we going to see from UNLV now after losing to Howard? I'm saying there is going to be one team that everybody is just throwing under the bus after week 1 for a pathetic loss, and it's going to leave them undervalued from a point spread perspective for weeks and weeks and weeks on end, and someone's going to be able to cash in riding it. Who it's going to be yet, I don't know, but I'm fascinated to see here in week 2 who that could be.
But the problem that Baylor has that none of them have is Baylor has extreme personnel issues at that school, and there's a lot going on there that these other schools don't have. I think, Ian, your point there is totally right, and I think Texas is probably that team. I mean, if we remember when Oregon brought in Chip Kelly, they lost their first game. They ended up winning the Pac-12 that year. So yeah, I agree. I mean, there's a lot of overreactions, and certain teams will be fine. I think Texas will be fine. I mean, Herman will get them going, and I just don't. I think Baylor's just kind of in it right now. They have a lot going on there. They have a new coach. They have a lot personnel problems. I just think they're a team that it's hard to lay double digits with. But you're right. I mean, there's massive overreaction. I mean, look at Middle Tennessee State. I mean, they're a way better football team than they played on Saturday.
There you go. There's another one. I didn't even mention them. Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. Vandy's a good team. I mean, they're going to go bowling this year. They have a good defense. There's a lot of teams. I mean, we could make the case for, is Oklahoma State as good as they are? Yeah, they probably are. I mean, there's tons of we can make a case for anything, really.
Yeah, that's my simple point was last year we had Washington State and Temple, 2 clear cases of teams that lost week 1. Everybody jumped off the point spread bandwagon of both of those teams, and then they went on incredible point spread winning streaks, ATS, the rest of the season. There's going to be a team that after week 1, everybody's just, I don't want this team anymore. Someone now is going to come out of that pack. Texas, Baylor, Middle Tennessee, UNLV, who the hell knows at this point? But someone is going to come out of that pack and be a point spread machine and a point spread money maker moving forward. Who it's going to be, I don't know. Personally, though, big man, I don't think it's going to be Baylor. I think this program's in a mess right now. That's the one team I'm pretty confident in saying I don't think they're going to turn it around point spread wise after losing to Liberty in week 1. In fact, I'm willing to take Texas San Antonio. That's a bet on team for me going into the season. I'd be interested in them this week.
All right, guys, so we brought up Middle Tennessee. Looks like they're 3-3-9 on the rotation this week, and they're facing Syracuse. Obviously, going from Vanderbilt's defense to Syracuse defense is like night and day. So this one's lined Syracuse -9.5, 10 starting to show up at Chris. 72.5 the total, bet up to 76.5. This is off the cuff. Just what are you guys looking to bet in this game in the Carrier Dome?
I would be on the Blue Raiders outright in this game. I don't. When you have a team like Middle Tennessee facing a team in Syracuse who is inept defensively, and look, I know we can make the case Middle Tennessee is as well, but I have a feeling this is a close game throughout. I'll gladly take the money line. I think Middle Tennessee's a live dog. I don't think I think the line's massively overreacted to the first game. I think they're better than Syracuse is. I think they'll get right in this game. Brent Stockstill, like you said, Drew, Vandy's nowhere near what Syracuse is on defense. I think with Scott Schaefer coming back to Syracuse, he knows that football team. He coached there. He's now the D coordinator at Middle Tennessee. I think that's going to be big in this game. I'm not even worried about the points. I'm going to take the money line, and if I can get that here, I'm going to give it plus 289. I'm all over that. I think this is a game that they'll go in and win. I don't even care about the points. I don't think this line's anywhere near where it should be. It should be 3 or 4. Middle Tennessee will win this game.
Donnie, any opinion on this one?
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, I circled this game, a few days ago when it came out, Middle Tennessee State. Obviously, I was very high on them last year and the year before. This is exactly the type of game that Middle Tennessee State wants to be in. Another team that's going to want to run with them and have that same type style of play. If you looked at Vanderbilt, obviously an SEC speed, you had an SEC defense out there, a power running game looking to slow it down and just grind you into a halt. This game's going to be an open track meet. And what I really like about it is, again, you're looking at overreaction. Somebody might see the score and doesn't know. Oh, Syracuse looks like they're back. It was an FCS team they pummeled and put up tons and tons of points against. Middle Tennessee State, still new to the betting scene. If you're just a normal public bettor, you're saying, you know what? They lost last week bad. They're going up to Syracuse. I remember when Donovan McNabb was on Syracuse. They were a really good team. Probably tough to play in the Carrier Dome. This is exactly what they need. 21% of the spread is only coming in on Middle Tennessee State. 93% of the money and 79% of the tickets coming in on Syracuse here. Chris opened that line at 10. Still currently sitting at 10. I think 10's a bargain here. I like a bounce back from the.
I like that. I like that angle, Donnie. Talking about a directional school and bringing in Donovan McNabb. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Hey, oh wait, Carrier Dome. Oh damn, Syracuse looked good last week. I mean, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
One team went 6 points and is saying, "Oh, Syracuse is back. They should be able to score. They should be able to beat." Who the hell is Middle Tennessee State?
Donnie, why not just take them straight up? This one's going to be back and forth. You know it better than I do. And listen, Middle Tennessee returns 8 of 9 top tacklers. We have to point out their defensive coordinator coached at Syracuse. I think he knows a lot of these kids. This is a ridiculous 9. I don't know how they put 10 out. This massive. Donnie's totally right. Massive overreaction in this game.
Yep.
Massive.
I think Syracuse will be improved, but I'm not ready to lay this price. Not even.
Let's keep another thing with the ball written all over it.
Yeah, and you know what? Let's maybe keep in mind
another
too that
overreaction, maybe underreaction. Let's get to is Texas that bad? Is Maryland this good? What are we talking in Texas, Maryland here? What are you thinking, Donnie?
I don't like
a little bit of both in that situation. Go ahead.
Piggy injury's big. Yeah, the piggy injury's big with him for sure.
Ian, man, he's funny.
Go ahead, Ian.
We're trying to box Ian out. Go ahead, man. Take it.
No. Go ahead.
He wants to talk Texas. Let him at it. Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead. Get it. Texas. Go.
No, I think Texas is going to be fine. I mean, I think they're going to be fine. It's one of those weird games, too. Maryland had a blocked field goal return for a touchdown. It was a wild game. I do have concerns about this defense. That's going to be a work in progress. No question about that for the Texas Longhorns. This team's going to be able to put up points, though, throughout the course of the season. You got Tom Herman there, knows how to get things done and plan and game plan and scheme on the offensive side of the football. Shane Buechele, I think he gets more comfortable with Tom Herman here in the system here in Texas, going to get better on that side of the ball. I'm not ready to throw the Longhorns under the bus just yet after 1 week.
Anybody else got an opinion on Maryland or Texas?
Yeah, I'm agreeing with Ian. I for whatever reason continue to have a soft spot for Texas, even though I think their athletic program is vastly overrated. But no, I agree. I don't think they just got really I think Maryland, they were surprised by how good Maryland might have been. Going forward, Maryland's going to have some problems with their quarterback out. But Texas has Buechele. They have plenty of options. Defensively, they're better than they showed on Saturday. I really believe that. They'll be fine. They better be fine because Todd Orlando is getting paid a lot of money to coach that defense. So he better wake up. I think this week, they might be in a good spot to bounce back as well. I know San Jose State kind of hung with South Florida, but let's be honest, they did end up losing by 20+ in that game. Land 26, I don't think people are going to be quick to run to the window and bet on Texas. They may hammer the Spartans in this spot, though. I'm not going to bet it, but agreed. I don't think they're as bad as they showed.
Drew Youngston saying fade Maryland until we know how good the new QB is. That's a good thing to say. I mean, I think their quarterback that got injured, Pigney, he was a hell of an athlete. And with him gone, we got to see how that offense reacts. But they moved
the ball with the backup. The kid came in and played pretty well, I thought. But you're right. I mean, we have to keep it. Kasim Hill, the freshman, I thought he was pretty good. But you're right. New game. You got to prepare.
That's the thing. Coming in cold off the bench. Now you know you're the guy. Now you know you got to prepare and practice the whole week. That's a big difference. So we'll see if he can duplicate it coming up.
Sure.
Yeah, it is different, but Big Man brings up a good point. I mean, if he already performed well, then he has confidence. And we know Walt Bell, he's one of the best offensive coordinators out there. So it's a good offense to be in. But, guys, let's break down a couple games, 3-7-7, 3-7-8. The two Tigers going at it, Auburn at Clemson. Clemson laying 5, 53.5 the total. Ian, you want to start us off on this one?
Probably not going to have much on this game. I need to see what Jarrett Stidham and this Auburn offense can do against a legitimately one of the best defenses in the country as far as I'm concerned in the Clemson Tigers, on the road here in Death Valley. Let's see if they can move the ball. Let's see if they can get it done. I'm not willing to sell Clemson short. I mean, Clemson, I know, obviously we were wondering the Deshaun Watson not being there, how quickly they would adapt at quarterback, but I thought he played well, albeit against Kent State, but now it's it's going to be a different challenge, but I was very impressed with how he played last week for this Clemson team. I need to see what Auburn can do against an upper-tier foe like this before I back them. Clemson might be sold a little short, but I'm not going to get involved in this one.
Auburn did have a couple guys go down, so you think that will come into effect here, big man?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, obviously things are going to get magnified when you play Clemson in Death Valley. They'll do things to you that, Kent State or Georgia Southern won't be able to do. I kind of agree with Ian. This won't be a game I'm going to be really into. I do think it'll be a close game. I would lean with the points here just because I'm pretty high on Stidham and Auburn. I like Petway a lot. But again, I'm still wondering about Clemson. I mean, I don't really put a lot of stock into them beating, Kent State. Clearly Kent State quit. Is Kelly Bryant, I hear how he's the real deal because he played well in that game, but let's be real. This is going to be where we see if he is got the ability to be the real deal. I know I would have in Stidham. I know he's going to be able to probably command that offense pretty well. I don't have much in this game. I haven't looked much into it. These are games I typically don't get involved with, but I'll definitely watch it. I'm going to go ahead and lean that Auburn can cover this game. I think it'll be a close game throughout. I'll take a shot with Auburn, but I'm not going to be betting it. I don't have much on it.
It is a tough ask to ask Auburn, first-year quarterback, to go on the road at night to Clemson and come out with a win, even stick within 5 points. But Donnie, you got any opinion? Even the total at 53.5, is that a little low in your eyes?
I don't think it is because they're too powerful. Whenever you have athletes on the field, they tend to go over the total. But in this situation, Dabo Swinney, I mean, he sort of built that program up to play in big-type game situations. The one thing you're interested in looking at is 69% of the public betting spread-wise here is favoring the Clemson Tigers in this one. However, that line opened up at Chris Drew 6-6 down to 4.5. Pinnacle opens up at 6.5 down to 5.5. Bet Online must have opened up really early with a 9. They're down to 5.5 in this. Maybe the sharps are talking a little bit on Auburn here, but until I see Clemson go down in this type of environment with a spread under 7, I'm always going to lean to Dabo just because I like what he's built. I mean, they've been there, done that, go up against the Titans and continually beat them in these type of situations. I'm interested to watch this one, but that line right there, looks a little bit too easy for Clemson for me. I might be leaning Auburn here as maybe a sharper edge.
Yeah, and some interesting things on Auburn's side. I mean, Petway's coming back. He was suspended for first game against Georgia Southern. Also, their backup quarterback, Sean White, I believe he's still going to be suspended for this game. So if anything happens to Stidham, they would have to go with a third-string guy. And Stidham was running around pretty well against Georgia Southern's defense, but Clemson's defense is going to be a different animal, especially on the road. But what's that, big man?
No, I was just laughing about Georgia Southern compared to Clemson. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, different animal, absolutely. But guys, what about 387, 388, Stanford, USC laying 6 or 7? Make sure to shop around. Check out SBR odds on this one to get the best number. 56 the total. Big man, what are you thinking about this one on the West Coast?
Yeah, I'm pretty high on Stanford. I really like this team. I have a big future. I mean, you never know. This is going to go a long way in proving if they're legitimate or not. Had a week to prepare. I know guys will bring that up. Look, they didn't really have to – they really had more than weeks to prepare because Rice is a pathetic program, so you really don't have to prepare much for them. I like Keller Christ. I think he's a bit of a miracle, to be totally honest with you. I think the fact that he came back so quick from that gruesome injury last year is really a medical miracle, if you ask me. I'm blown away at how effective he is and has looked in practice and in game situations. I like their running back, Love. I think defensively they're getting better and better. I think they're going to get back to the years of when they were a shutdown defense. I think their secondary is really good as well. And look, we saw USC struggle, and this is what USC is. They're all the hype early in years, how good Sam Darnold is, how great this team's going to be. Look, I like Darnold a lot. I think this would be a tough football game, though. I think it'd be one of those typical Pac-12 kind of two really good teams going head-to-head. Stanford's not going to be scared to go in there and play. They're well-coached. I like David Shaw, always have. I don't trust Clay Helton either. I don't know that I trust really anyone else on USC other than Darnold. For me, I'm going to lean with Stanford here. I think this is a really big game for them early on to kind of show the Pac-12 that they're a team that needs to be reckoned with other than USC. So I would go with the Cardinal here.
And Ian Cameron, what are you thinking about this game?
Yeah, it's Stanford or pass for me. It's probably going to be pass because it just feels that that Stanford bandwagon's been loaded up a little bit more after USC had that scare with Western Michigan last week. But Stanford, 3 straight covers against USC dating back to the start of last season, and I'm not willing to lay these kind of points with USC. They are still a public team that has been overvalued, I think, and the hype's just gone a little bit out of control with the Trojans dating back to before the season. And the stat that really concerns me and really stands out like a sore thumb from that scare against Western Michigan, 49-31 last week, they actually got outgained on the ground by Western Michigan. That means at the point of attack, you were not as physical against the Western Michigan Broncos. So how are you going to handle Stanford's ground game now in this game? Bryce Love being able to run the football downhill against this USC team. That is a massive red flag, massive concern for me that USC got outrushed, outgained on the ground last week. Michigan team. That's a concerning matchup issue that they're going to have to overcome. Sam Darnold looked jittery. Maybe the Heisman hype got into his head a little bit last week, but that was a jittery, very comfortable, confident performance from him. Turnovers were an issue, bad interceptions. He's going to have to negate that against a much better team, a much better defense here in this game. Let's not forget Stanford off a bye week. They've had plenty of time to adjust the body clock from that Australia trip. Get back here. It's a Stanford or pass situation for me. Do not want to lay it with USC.
Yeah, the extra time to prepare could come into effect. Donnie, you got anything on Stanford, USC? And if not, anything on the Boomer Sooners heading to Ohio State?
Let's take a look at Stanford, USC in this one. I mean, Stanford opens up the season early. They get the extra week off. They beat what equates to a middle school team with Rice, hammered them. I get that. Public's going to go out and see USC struggle with Western Michigan, who lost their head coach and lost a lot of talent in that situation. And the public bets accordingly. 70% are betting Stanford in this game, only 30% USC. However, line opens up at Chris, 5.5. USC now sits at 6.5. So some smart money must have came in early here on USC. We'll see how it factors in later in the week, but everything lines up where your minds are going to play tricks on you. Wait a second. USC couldn't handle Western Michigan at home. Oh my God. Stanford opened up and murdered a team, and they have extra time to play one of their rivals. Yeah. Something's not adding up here because everybody's leveling here on Stanford, and that line is going higher. That's something to keep an eye on.
That's exactly, Donnie, the point as to why Stanford is I'm going back and forth, play or pass, and I'm not sure what I want to do right now. But if I had to, I'd play Stanford, but I'm not sure I will.
Donnie, about the line movement, I know you talk about it a lot, and Tamar actually in the chat box just said something about the public doesn't bet until game day. Do you think that's relevant in using the numbers?
Here's the whole point of that. So-called, quote-unquote, sharp money. What do? They crush the opening line, then they beat it up and see where it ends up to see if they want to come in at the end. The most important line movement to me is not the steam on Sunday and Saturday morning when publics and sharps are betting. It's immediately when that line comes out when you say, man, that looks a little bit high, and you can see your screen lighting up like a Christmas tree, changing numbers. That's the most important line to me. I want to see where it opened and where it immediately moved and then react and say, not just follow the steam or go bet the game, and saying, you know what? Let me open up a book on USC to see why now. They're not getting very much public action or 30% of play, but that line is moving higher. It makes you want to dig into the numbers a little bit more, but I take more stock in the opening number than actually the closing number.
Preach, Donnie. Wait, Mark, where we are? What, the hour and 4-minute mark? If you need to replay that, what Donnie said, that is, he's preaching college football line move right there. Opening to what it goes at by Monday afternoon. Pay attention to that. That's some smart money more often than not. But guys,
no, Donnie's analysis of the intricacies of line movement are fantastic as far as I'm concerned, and that's always something you got to factor in the back of your mind before you get to the betting window. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's why it's good to have a book that has openers. You know, we know 5 Dimes. Chris is one of them, but Bet Online is really the opener where you can get a nickel down on these line moves. They come out Sunday about 2:00 Eastern. If you don't have a Bet Online account, not really sure why not, but maybe it's just not worth it to you. But the opening lines, like Donnie's saying, is something that everybody should have in their back pocket. But guys, we got to get, for the sake of time, into best bets. Let's get right around college football, NFL, MLB, whatever you got. Big man, start us off.
Right. I'm going to go with a total. I'm going to go over 60. UCLA, Hawaii. Don't really understand this line. It's actually went down, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I don't know if anyone's noticed, but Hawaii can't stop anybody. and they're a team that can move the football. If we saw anything from UCLA, it's that they struggle as well to get stops. I think Josh Rosen's a guy that should be able to pick Hawaii apart. Again, kind of odd move. I don't know why this number is going down. But again, I just think we see two up-tempo teams here. Hawaii's a team that does they're not that typical Hawaii team. They're a team that can move the football. They will score into the 20s, I would think, into this game. And if you look at last year, you look at some of their step-up games, they got crushed. I mean, they were giving up 50 points like it was no one's business. I think this one gets way over 60. It's kind of a head scratcher to me. Hawaii, 272 passing yards a game. They've been able to move the rock as well. This one should be a pretty wild game. Quick point as well. I really like Oklahoma this week, plus 7.5. I'm all over that number. I think Baker Mayfield, this is the game where he puts himself kind of sorely into that Heisman Trophy leading spot. I think there's no Malik Hooker, no moments like that this year for this Ohio State team. They had trouble against Indiana in week 1. They let Richard Legault kind of really do whatever he wanted through the air. I think Baker Mayfield's going to pick them apart. I know they don't win these big games a lot of the time, but when you're getting over a touchdown with Oklahoma in a game like this, I'm going to take a shot with them. But for me, my play of the day is going to be game number 153, 154, over 60, Hawaii and the Bruins.
Big man, to come back at you on that Hawaii, I like the total as well. I'm with you. What about looking sidewise? I mean, can you see this backdoor being open, laying 23 with UCLA? And, Hawaii can move the ball.
Yeah, they can, but my concern is them. I don't know how good they are. I mean, they look good against UMass and West Carolina and Fresno State, but if you really peel back last year and look at them throughout, because they are the same team pretty much, they got crushed. And I'm talking about 55-0. I mean, Michigan, they got they were just getting rolled by some of these teams. I have a weird feeling this one's like 52-24, and the back door might be open, but I'm not one to think that Hawaii is going to go on go into the States and even make this one close, because they've shown in the past they can't do that. But I feel like they will score in the 20s. Why not just go over? Hawaii will give up 40 plus for sure. Okay.
Yeah, no, I like it, big man. Donnie, what about you? What are you looking at for best bets, man?
NFL opening week, we might as well go with an NFL game. Again, we'll go back to 463, 464 in the rotation. It's going to be Oakland, Tennessee. All summer long, I've been talking about this game. I love the matchup. Situation's even playing out better than I thought. 37% of the wagers coming in on Tennessee with 61% of the money. Line opened up as a small favorite towards the Oakland Raiders at -1.5. Now currently Pinnacle, as we're on the air, just flashed a -2.5. So line moving in the right direction for me. Try to snap that one up before it gets to 3. I just think overall Tennessee's a good football team. They just placed Oakland in a bad situation. I'm not saying I'm down on Oakland. They're not going to win double-digit games. They're not going to challenge for the division. I just think they're in a bad spot as an opener here. A lot of hype on that team coming in here. Tennessee, very talented team, seemingly a little bit farther under the radar than I thought they would be. Everything lines up well. I think Tennessee gets the job done on opening day. I'll go with Tennessee, and we'll go -2.5. We'll keep it even there, Pinnacle.
So going with the Titans?
Yeah, we'll go Titans -2.5. I'll even take the worst number on the board.
All right, Tennessee Titans -2.5, NFL Week 1 for Donnie. And Ian Cameron, what are you liking?
Yeah, we're going to go to a rare conference matchup in college football on the board on Saturday. I think maybe a little wrong team favored situation here in this one. We're going to look at Wake Forest +1.5 against Boston College coming up on Saturday, game in Chestnut Hill. I think Wake Forest football team this year, it's funny because last year what was the talk about? How the announcer for Wake Forest threw this team under the bus, giving out play calling, game plans, that kind of thing to opponents. Since that whole thing
blew Apple over, Watch that I heard.
Yeah, apparently, yeah. That seems to be the tool to use these days to do this kind of crap. Yeah. But it's funny because that came out before the bowl game last year. They beat Temple in the bowl game. They beat Presbyterian. Obviously, Presbyterian is who they are, but still 2-0 for Wake Forest since that time. And I think it's an improved football team. I think defensively they're going to be very good this year. Kendall Hinton, the dual threat quarterback now for Wake Forest, has assumed the starting job. I think he's going to have an improved season for this team. And Boston College, to me, did not impress me even in victory last week against Northern Illinois, 23-20, but outgained in the football game. Northern Illinois outgained Boston College despite BC escaping with that victory. And then you look at the meeting last year between these two teams, BC with a 17-14 win over Wake Forest, but don't be fooled. Wake Forest outgained Boston College big time in that football game, deserved a better fate. I think payback for the Wake Demon Deacons here in this game. And let's not forget, this is not a dominant home field. This is not a scary home field here in Chestnut Hill. Boston College 3-9 against the spread. Their last 12 at home. I'd say that struggle continues for them here. Wake Forest plus 1.5, best bet for the round table this week.
All right, Ian Cameron on Wake plus 1.5. I'll go 3-6-1. San Jose State, Texas over 63. I think Texas is an over team until further notice. I think the market's a little slow on these totals. Also, San Jose State, the Spartans running a little bit more up tempo this year. And guys, so that's it for best bets. We got BMOC, Hawaii, UCLA over 60. Donnie on Tennessee Titans minus 2.5. Ian, Wake plus 1.5. I'll be on 3-6-1 San Jose State over 63. Let's do a little shout outs at the end here. Week 1 of NFL, also week 2 of college football. Great show, guys. I'll start us off with shout outs. We mentioned Bet Online. If you don't have a Bet Online account, you need to get one. Their openers on Sunday afternoon. Bet right into them. Very important to get ahead of the number. If you don't have a Bet Online account, looking to add a new one. If you use code DREWBET, you'll get a 75% bonus. And if you already have a Bet Online account, keep it. If you use Drew55, you'll get a 55% reload bonus. It helps keep the lights on here and keep us doing this content, so it helps us out. And also that Drew55, I believe, is the best reload business, the best reload bonus in the industry. Haven't seen one better. So make sure to check that out at Bet Online. Let's go around the horn, guys. Let's give a little shout out.
I'd like to shout Donnie Wrightset out for getting the best of it in that Tennessee game. Great job, Donnie. Good number you're working with there. Donnie waits 8 hours to get the right line. Good job.
I'm not saying I took the worst one on purpose. No, I don't want to hear back saying you got that. No way. Look at it. I just want. Yeah.
Donnie actually did something that I've never seen. He actually added an extra half point to a game. Just to say it.
Yeah, I wanted plus money on that one. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, shout out to my partner, Donnie Wrightset. We do the late right side of campus every day. The late night on campus was stolen from us. No, I'm only kidding. Right side of campus every day, 12:30. Check us out. We also have a show every Saturday called The Closing Line. Peter Loshek and I break down the college football card right before the games. Today at 3 o'clock, I also have Premier League punters. We break through the entire Premier League card. International breaks over. It means English soccer's back. I'll be doing that at 3 o'clock. And catch me on that.
Hey, yo, I got to also jump in here. Donnie, yeah, what are you talking about? The Greek showing minus 1.5, minus 120. That's what we're going with.
No, I went with Pinnacle. Pinnacle showed up minus 2.5. So I said, you know what? Give me the worst number. That's how
Donnie
confident I am. Give me the worst number on the board. Yes.
Donnie Wrightset, line genius, getting the best of it. Good job, buddy.
Yeah. No, I'm changing it. Donnie, you're on minus 1.5 Tennessee. All right.
Do it.
Give me plus 1.5 wide. Let's take the open. Hold on. Let me revise.
Why don't you play 6.5?
463, 464. I played this on June 21st. I got plus 3.5 Tennessee. Let's go with that.
Why don't you slay 6.5, Donnie?
Exactly.
All right, we got to say hi to Matt's cousin Sheila. It's her 3rd birthday. So hello,
very
Sheila.
good. Happy
Matt,
birthday!
obviously helping out a lot
Happy
with this
birthday,
roundtable. So.
This is what happens to shout-outs now. Now we're going to be doing all this stuff. Yep, good job.
Everybody's got it. I'm sure Cynthia and Zach will jump in just a second. But guys, what other shout-outs we got, real quick?
Well, for me, I mean, I got the CFL show every Tuesday. That's great. I will now be on every Wednesday night with my pal Morency on Sports Rage. Great to see that back here at SBR.
Ian.
Yeah.
Just wanted to let you know I did cash my bet that you had mentioned Morency over 1.5 times in the show today. So thank you for that. Just wanted to let you know.
There you go. Of course. Yeah. Of course. And hockey show. I think we're going to have some kind of hockey show in a month because NHL season is going to be fast approaching.
A puckhead.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be awesome when we get NHL back in a month. So, and of course, the roundtable every week. So busy stuff. And by the way, I almost forgot to mention this. NFL and college football play of the week videos. They're going to be on Twitter and Facebook. We're going to be doing it via social media this year, not on YouTube. I'll be doing those every Thursday. I'll have an NFL and college football play of the week video. It'll be a different play in college or NFL from the one I give out here on the roundtable. So make sure you tune in for that. Hopefully we get a winning record and a winning season with those videos. Looking forward to bringing them back.
Hey, Drew.
Hey.
I got to ask you a question. I got a bone to pick with SBR for just a minute. Why do we have a time limit? Can I ask that? Gabe Morency can go for
Less
8
is
hours.
more. No, less is more. We keep it tight. We keep it 1 hour. We keep it hard hitting.
I'm only making a joke here.
No, and I can actually give you an answer. I think that the analytics come back, and we already went over this 59, so I don't think it matters now.
Advanced
But
metrics,
when people watching the replay see 2 digits, so like 59 minutes or less, or they see 3 digits, so it's like an hour or more, they're less inclined to click yes. So they're, and watch it. That's the reason. So we try
there's one thing I want to shout out to, Drew, is Donnie's new show, Closing Line, is a genius idea. It's a brilliant concept, 6 to 7 or something in that range Eastern time, getting everybody prepared for the nightly games on a every single day basis. That's a great concept of a show, and I wish them all the best with it. Should be fun.
No, I appreciate that. And again, we've been doing it this week here, and we're not shooting any links out now. It does go live, but it's almost like a test run that we're going through. I had Peter on. I had Jeff on the day before that. Jeff's going to be on again today. We're just running through the kinks. Monday, we'll have that show going live, but the specific of that game, which I love, which Ian's pointing out, just to go over the concept of the show all afternoon long. We go over generalities for games. We don't see any lineups. We don't see late movement. This show is designed for picks and getting you ready for the closing line. What I think about a lineup that came out, what, Jeff's going to think about seeing some things that are moving around out there, some late breaking information, giving out picks and going right up to the first pitch or kickoff. It's going to be a lot of fun. Monday, we'll have that official kickoff, but we are going to do the show live again. So if you're on YouTube, see a little thing pop up there, check in. We'll be running the chat box, doing everything there, but I appreciate it, Ian. That's going to be a lot of fun from here on out with a lot of good guests. And again, Ian, hockey season starts up. He's going to be on there. Drew makes appearances on there. Teddy's going to make an appearance. Pete's on that show. Everybody here at SBR is going to make an appearance on that show. A lot of fun, guys.
Yeah, it is
awesome.
I'm really excited about it.
Watch it. Everybody, watch it.
All right, guys. Any more shout outs or forever hold your peace here?
Yeah, I actually want to shout out my barber. Thanks for getting me in today. I know I usually come Friday night, but you were able to get me in early. Shout out to my cleaning lady. I do think she stole my coffee, which I got to find out what happened to that. But and again, shout out to the guy at the toll the other day. I didn't have exact change, and he was able to give me change, which normally he's not usually there. So shout out to the Summers Point toll guy, who not always there, but he was there this week.
All right, guys. And also a shout out to all the listeners in South Florida and the Caribbean. Stay safe. If you can, evacuate. Head up to Atlanta. Head up to wherever. Find shelter for sure. But, guys, enjoy Week 1 NFL, Week 2 CFB. Guys, anything else before we close it out?
Nope.
One thing I want to point out, Kansas, rarefied point spread air, laying the kind of points they are. They've been a favorite 3 times the last 3 years. Last week didn't cover. Ohio lost outright last year. South Dakota State 2 years ago as a favorite, lost outright. Be careful with the Jayhawks. They're a better team. I'm not ready to lay those points.
Boom. Great way to end it. Thanks for watching, guys.